close. Wow. Weird.
Well, this is focused as good as it's going to get.
It's a nice wake. One more.
There's the British Sunderland out on Lake Fond du Lac. Hey Tim,
Yeah.
you see the helicopter out there?
Yeah, it's
Probably filming it.
pointing that out.
Say hello.
Hi.
What are you doing?
I'm programming my scanner to try to listen in.
Another shot of the Sunderland coming in, acting like a boat now. And there's somebody outside of the Sunderland waving an American flag. I'm sure it's not a British flag. There's two props feathered, the other two running. And over to the right looks like the pontoon boat getting ready to go out there and pick them up. And we're on the way out Lake Winnebago at Lake Fond du Lac. We're in Winnebago. Out to the Sunderland. On Lake Winnebago at Fond du Lac. How about that? And they just landed. And we're on the way out there.
Long ways across the gantry. It was all socked in and the weather was real bad. Across the down the ridge of Greenwood.
We're inside. Where are we?
In the back.
Yeah.
In the bottom level.
We're inside the Sunderland again. People outside looking in. That's the rear of the plane. Going up to the bar with the stickers. This is the upper deck of the Sunderland. Looks like a bar area.
I wish I had my camera. I wouldn't pass out the boat.
Short look.
Hello.
Oh, nice airplane.
Yeah, hello. Oh, it's a nice airplane you have. Yeah. Wish that little stewardess would come by and give us a cocktail. I'd really appreciate it.
Nothing towards the engine? I mean, this makes for a pretty good-sized boat, you know?
Yeah, well, he transferred. Remember Barbara? Remember the hotel and the Keys?
Oh, yeah. They're still married?
Oh, yeah.
That's
Wouldn't you be?
Yep.
It's
Do you have
funny.
any kids?
Huh?
Do you have any kids?
No. In fact, I talked to Jeff Levitt. Having kids, and as far as they've gone, it's just that they've acknowledged the fact that children do exist. That's as far as they've got with.
Yeah, just get them when they're looking at it.
Yes, sir.
These are the RVs.
No question. The history of this particular aircraft. Most aircraft was
And another
Yeah, I know.
They had a netting deal that went in here. These are the, you notice the leading edges? I don't know if you maybe didn't see them. The leading edges open up on either side of the engines and fold down, and then you get bracketry in there, and these stick onto that, and then there's this part here goes under, and you can go underneath the engine and do a plug change and everything.
Oh, I see.
So you can get in there.
Wow.
March. And this last time we went over to 26th June, which is a long time ago.
Yeah.
And I'm getting tired of it. I'm ready to go home. But now we got to take it out of the water, set it up on the beach here, drain all the fuel out of it, drain all the oil out, pull all the screens, check those, and go through and wash it real good and inhibit it and put it in mothballs till probably about June. Then we'll get it ready again for next Oshkosh. Then we'll have our facility down in Florida ready to go. But it's been a good trip. I wouldn't have wanted to miss it.
Where you gonna beach this at though?
Right straight in where you come out.
Oh, yeah?
In fact, there's a tree there we might have to cut out. We're going to pick it up. We're going to get the fuel out of it and all the oil out of it and try to get the weight down to around 40,000 pounds. She weighs normally with a full load of fuel right in the neighborhood of 30 tons, 60,000.
Good.
When we took off at Reykjavik, Iceland the other day, we were fully loaded, had everything full that we could get in with gas. 28 gallons of oil in each engine and 3,100 gallons of fuel, which was 2552 Imperial. We had 1, 2, 3 left with 4 and 5 reserve, and the same on the other tank.
You get some special dollies to pull it up? Or?
Yeah, there's special beaching gear that goes in.
Oh, I
It takes about a day to get it out because you have to use block and tackle to pull them up. They weigh about 1,500 pounds. They're monsters, big things.
Oh, yeah.
And then there's one on each side with 2 wheels, and there's a trolley that goes under the tail with 4 wheels underneath it. But we've got an outfit down in Rockford. They're building us a big beam right now that'll pick up about 45,000 pounds. And we've got 2 pickup points right up at the datum line there, and we'll get the CG pretty close. We'll just pick her up and set her on the shore. Inhibit it and get it all set up for the winter, covered up the cockpit,
Where you
12-foot fence around it.
Are you gonna leave it here then?
Yeah, it'll stay in Wisconsin.
Oh,
Mhm.
okay.
Should be here. And do it all again next year and make the trip down to Florida. But we can make that in one hop. We can leave here and go right straight non-stop.
I'm sure you're not completely rebuilt down there, but you're getting a handle on it anyway?
Well, we're not taking it where the museum is. We're going up to Central Florida to his new facility at Fantasy of Flight at
Oh, that's right. Moving the
City.
whole works, huh?
Well, no, that museum in Miami will still stay.
Oh, okay.
That's a separate part.
Oh,
That's a non-for-profit. That has to stay the same way. That'll eventually move up to Center State someday, but I don't have any idea. It'll be about 10 years anyway. But it was an interesting trip, you know, the way we come across and everything.
Oh, bet.
Flew the Great Circle route down through from Southampton over to Lochdur, Ireland. Then from there we made a jumping off and went across Ireland, and that was kind of spooky going out across the coast and couldn't see nothing. We were out about 5.5 hours, and a Nimrod British Air Force jet come zooming up to us and flew around with us for about 40 minutes. You know, they said, "What are you guys doing out here by yourself?" We said, "Well, we're out for a sightseeing tour." So they flew around with us for a while, you know, and they throttled back as slow as they could because we were only doing 140 knots. And then
Who's the pilot?
well, we've got a British crew with
Oh,
us.
yeah?
One British flight engineer and Ken Emmett, who is the original captain of the thing.
Oh,
But he's 72 years old and he's just making the crossing. This will probably be the last time he'll ever do it. But he's got property in Florida, so he'll probably have an opportunity to fly it in the States again. So then we left, after Ireland, we went out and went over to Reykjavik, Iceland. And then we got socked in by the weather, so we stayed there for 4 days,
oh,
which was really a nice place to get stuck. It was,
nothing.
oh, God, we had a ball.
Did you really?
Yeah. There's, the backcountry area is about equal to like Yellowstone National Park.
Oh, for crying out loud.
There is, they got geysers, they got hot mineral springs where you can go washing and soak in, and they got all these little things that come up like Old Faithful has out there. And people are fantastic, really. It's a little chilly. Food is good, salmon and seafood. Kermit and I pegged out every night on salmon, trout, and herring. Hotel had a buffet, and that's where we stayed every night. Then I was doing some work on the boat, and they went over to this one plant. It looks like a darn fallout center with steam coming up, machinery, and the pool is kind of milky green. And you can jump in there and swim around. It's all natural, heated, and everything.
There's a lot of geothermal there, isn't there?
Huh?
There's a lot of geothermal
Oh,
stuff
God.
there. Whole island?
The people that camp around this area, they dig a little shallow area in the ground and they line it with some light sponge rubber. You put your hand on the ground, it's warm. Temperature is about 40, air temperature.
Oh, be
The
that.
ground is warm. They got all these tents there, and they camp right along the edge there. It's very primitive. But Reykjavik itself is an ultra-modern town. And the people they're the big Scandinavians. and they speak this early century 1200 Gothic and Northumbrian talk. Beautiful language. They're really nice people. They helped us. They were really nice. Expensive though. So anyhow, we stayed there 4 days, and then we took off there last Monday. Made the trip across the tip of Greenland, and that was kind of spooky. The altitude we were, a lot of icebergs, pack ice. Could never survive the landing if you had engine trouble. We'd have just ripped the bottom on, probably cartwheeled in.
How far from, you know, where them P-40s were located?
Right off the coast.
Right off the coast there, huh?
Yeah, the land itself is menacing itself. It's
Those are P-38s, aren't they?
P-38s and
P-30s, yeah,
B-17. I think there's one B-17, the rest are 5 or 6 P-38s. Well, over in the show here, they've got one of the nose sections, that team that's went in for recovery. They're looking for donations. They got bits and pieces of metal, but you know, it's not, financially it's not feasible. I mean, that stuff, you're down 200 and some odd feet. You got the slight bit of claustrophobia, you better forget it. Because they use a hot pump and blow the ice. And the shaft is like 40 inches or whatever. And it goes straight down. And last year the guy was telling me that they were finishing up one evening, they heard this, they kept hearing this rushing sound. And during the night there was an underground stream, and it broke through, and it just went bloop. It filled that cavity right up to the top.
Oh my God.
And in all probability anybody down there would have never got out. You know.
Temperature's probably real cold.
Oh yeah, that stuff you couldn't, hypothermia
water.
would get you right now. It probably got in excess of 2 below zero in the cockpit.
Oh God.
We were all bundled up in gloves and everything else. I was on the flight engineer panel, and I got cold. You're sitting there, you don't move, you know, you just, you cold soak is what you do.
There's no heating on this thing?
No, we got janitorial heaters, but they were rendered inoperable a long time ago, and it really wasn't to our advantage to try to get them overhauled over in England, because, you know, stuff is out of sight. And we spent days trying to figure out what kind of spares, you know, starters, magnetos, and got one hydraulic pump on, and a lot of the, like, a set of exhausts. I've got one exhaust inboard side of number 3 I didn't think would make it, because it's got paper thin and it's all wrinkled up. And that would have took us a couple days to change. It would have blew out because I had to change the whole ring.
You paint the inside over there, or did they paint this?
Part of it.
Part of it?
We did a lot of sheet metal work back here in the tail. This used to have 4 turrets back here, 4 guns in this turret. And when they changed it over, it was made into a passenger. We're going to leave the configuration the way it is. Kermit was kind of thinking about changing it entirely, but what we'll do is probably we'll leave the interior because he kind of likes that, but we'll outwardly make it look like a warbird again.
Yeah.
Put the guns on. He's got a bunch of parts in Australia, and we know where there's a whole nose section with the turret and everything.
Oh.
So we'll probably put that on, and that's similar to what we got, except it's got the turret. It cranks back, and you work in the bow for anchoring and everything. But that's down the road a ways. Once we get her down there, it's going to take extensive work to do it.
This is beautiful. Boy, I tell you.
This is an exciting spot to sit back here. You know, we've all went way back in the tail, and you just sit down back there and put your hands in your lap, and it's all over the place. The other day,
Well, when you're flying it, you mean?
yeah, the other day I opened up back at the flight engineer's panel. There's a hatch. You can go out, and we can go way out in the wings. And I wanted to check something because I was seeing evidence that looked like fuel coming out one of the skin laps. And I really don't trust the spare tanks we got because they're not really good shape. So I opened up the hatch, and I got my little flashlight, and I crawled on out. And I do it with my flashlight. I think I left that in the hotel.
You need it?
Yeah, I usually use it. But anyhow, I crawled on out there, and Kermit got off the seat, and he says, "Where's Russ?" And I said, "Oh, he's downstairs sleeping." So he went down there, and they said, "Well, where's Russ?" So we haven't seen him. He went back up and said, "Where the hell is Russ?" So the one flight engineer said, "Well, he's out in the damn wing. He's been out there for over an hour. Probably died out there." So I'm way out there, you know, I'm already starting to come back in. I see this light, you know, every time, damn light was shining in my eyes. I'm going, God damn it, shine the light somewhere else. So Kermit shined it on me. He puts his thumb up and puts his flashlight and says, "You all right?" You know, you can't hear him because it's drones on the... So I shined my flashlight on my thumb, and I'm all right. We were like 25 feet up and down, just boom, all over the place. And then I come out of there, and the guy that was sitting on the panel, he said, "You're gonna have to take over the panel." He said, "I feel bad." And he went down, he got up with a headache, and his stomach was real queasy. He smelled the fuel, and then I started kidding him. I said, "Boy, wait till we get to Wisconsin. All that good bratwurst and everything." And I didn't know about it. And then Kermit picked up and says, "Jeff, have you ever had a good Wisconsin bratwurst sandwich?" And Jeff says, "No." And I don't want to talk about it. So then Kermit says, "This steak terra, I don't know if you ever heard of it.
Yeah.
It's raw. It's raw meat." So Kermit started telling him about that. He says, "Oh," he said, "you put a little bit of Worcestershire sauce and chopped onion, put it on